My name is Frank, and what I do daily is build companies with the same sets of blocks. And these blocks can be design, many designers out there. I don't know if you are designers too. But today I will talk about the no-code tech side of things and how we combine different processes in different companies just to increase the quality of data and in result finally be able to talk to company like we would talk to Siri. What I implemented last minute, is just how I use the same methods to talk to my life, which can be an abstract concept, but you will see that it brings a lot of joy and productivity. So let's start with business and the concept of operating system 2.0, which is crucial for us to be able to talk to data in our companies. So to build operating system 2.0, we started with using the same tools in every company. But if you are a singular company, not a holding company, changing your tools will be a waste of time. Like, I spent a lot of time on it, and honestly, it doesn't make so much difference. So the API of most of the tools is open enough to build amazing things, and don't spend half of your year choosing if you should be on Google Workspace or, I don't know, Microsoft or ClickUp or Monday, and so on and so on. So what we do is use these tools in a similar way and a similar rhythm. So if a manager in one company needs to report, I don't know, sales result, we do that every Tuesday before 4 p.m. in every company. That makes gathering data more streamlined and like in the same rhythmic pace among all the companies. It's also important for future automations. And we have separated 5 key processes in professional services companies in which I invest in, go into new companies like that. Recently, for example, I invested in law firm, and I think it's exactly the same model as digital marketing agency or automation agency. Like, we just count hours, profitability, we need leads, we need sales, we need happy customers, happy employees, and that's it. So these processes are serviced by these 5 core modules of the operating systems that we develop daily. Our teams meet around every 2 weeks to discuss the best practices from sales or customer success among different companies. And we have set pretty ambitious goals, so we are able to optimize these processes. So as you can see, for example, reducing customer acquisition cost for about 50% during 1 year, this is a game changer for business. But we knew that with investing so much time and effort into this strategic move, we expect some tangible results. I won't list all of them, but every department, every area of the company also has pretty ambitious goals that we want to reach through automation and AI. And before we move to automation, I would like just to make sure that you have that in the back of your head, that you need some kind of database in the background that will gather all the data from different automations and tools you use. So we use Airtable to mirror all the data like leads from Airtable. If we use Clockify, we try to leave this data in Airtable, and then if there is a bigger volume of data, we move that to a professional data warehouse. But Airtable is pretty nice in terms of connecting with all the tools. And slowly, additional thing which is not mentioned here, we slowly limit the number of tools and move more and more tools to ClickUp. We are pretty close with ClickUp, and I'm super satisfied with this tool. But still, we need this Airtable in the background. And then, by having all the data in one data source, it's easier to create these beautiful dashboards that allow me to open, I'm on vacation, and I'm able to open my phone and just look how every company is performing in every area on beautiful dashboards that color themselves according to the design of the certain company. I love this design thing here. It's super motivating just to click something and it changed to blue because it's all about Automation House, for example. So when we start to work on automations, I don't like this approach where you map a big, amazing, powerful process and try to do it all at once. What I prefer is an approach where you can focus on smaller things, all to find some quick wins in different departments, and at first they are pretty scattered. So, that's definitely something I would have in the back of your head. And then, only after then, you start to combine these automations into some smaller combos. So, for example, the lead enters CRM. There is an automatic response to this person, and at the same time, the lead is enriched with some data scrappers from the internet, and we have more information about the lead. For example, what is the size of the company, how many people do they employ, are they growing or maybe declining, and so on. But this is some kind of smaller combo, right? And these smaller combos start to make this process more streamlined and more standardized. And here you encounter some kind of problem, because when you go deeper into standardization, there is less and less elasticity for team members to use the tools how they want. So this is kind of a trade-off. In a bigger organization, you cannot let everyone use the tools how they want. So you encounter some kind of resistance. And to counter that resistance, what you need to do is focus on change management, because developing automations, when you know what you want to build, it's pretty easy. But making people understand the value of them and not be scared of them, that's the whole another thing. And I think there are like 3 characteristics you need to have on your mind when you are introducing automation into your team. First one is confidence in this kind of solution. So if you are wavering and you are not sure if that's a good decision, that will make a lot of trouble, because people feel that, and if the leader is not confident, they will just follow and use that as an excuse not to use the tools or not treat this seriously enough. So inevitability is another thing. You need to make sure that the change is certain, gather their feedback, and implement this feedback throughout intensive support you need to provide. And please don't believe that by recording some Loom video or describing a process, people will learn about different tools. There are so many of them, so many automations, so many examples. And you need to sit down with these people, support them, show them where to click, what kind of questions they have, do not ridicule them, and so on, all to have this amazing feeling that after half a year of doing that, no one will even remember the world before automations. So at some specific point, the specific elements of these automations will start to break down the organizational silos. So in our companies, when a marketer wants to do a case study, we don't hunt for experts to take their time. We just review the notes, automatic notes from internal customer success masterminds, and find some interesting cases, review results of these clients in our dashboards, and then we use AI-powered content generator to create a draft of a case study, for example. And we only send it to review by the client and by the expert, saving a lot of time of valuable people who need to do their work for our clients. The same with sales. Like we can, for example, ask AI what are the common sales objections in the sales process, and based on that we can brainstorm what kind of ideas marketing can use to create content that addresses all this information. But without this one data warehouse that gathers that, it would be way harder for us to build something like that. And suddenly, we decided to drop Pipedrive and move to ClickUp, which is completely unusual move. And all the departments work on the same tool stack. So it's not even companies, but also departments working on the same tools. So what do you need to do then to start talking to your company like you would be talking to Siri? And we have developed kind of an internal and external tool because we started to sell it to clients too, which is called Ion. And this is kind of simple chat interface where you can do many amazing things. And it's linked to the database we are building, either for us or for our clients. I will focus on us, not to sell too much. So basically, from this interface, you can choose any LLM, any large language model that you can use to talk with this data. And recently, we had a big debut of GPT-01 preview, right? And honestly, I think it's amazing in multi-threaded conversations. And if we would build our solutions on just counting on one LLM, that would be a problem. But now we can only switch the language model and use the different one to do certain operations or just talk to it. So another thing is that you can talk, for example, to AI nodes from our video and phone calls. We record phone calls only in sales through Ringostat, a certain tool. And you can, for example, ask about what were the recent clients' questions during these sales calls. Then you can create some kind of coach, and I am waiting for the next presentation about leadership in the AI era, because I'm pretty curious how it's solved in different companies. But basically, you can put some frameworks or some vision of how you would like to sales in your company to be done. So my sales director, CRO in the holding, Milivoy, can say, okay, we do sales in the challenger sales framework. We want to challenge our clients. We want to showcase them that they have some pain points and problems. And all the AI advice through our sales coach embedded in Ion will be in the challenger sales framework. So you can build such a coach for using certain tools, like, for example, some kind of developer, like, for example, you are using Make. So you can create a Make expert tool that will adhere to your internal documentation standards, which wouldn't be mentioned in the classic AI, like a normal talk with, for example, GPT-4o or other model. I can also talk to company results or interact with the company Wikipedia, which also saves a lot of time of different people who are, for example, answering these questions a lot if you hire more than 100 people. And I don't want them to do such a job. I want them to move to working on the process instead of in the process. So what we recently developed is like super simple. So if you are in the topic, that won't surprise you, but we can, of course, talk to this interface and with text-to-speech. Yes, synthesis, like changing text, speech to text. And we are like on the verge of deciding what kind of voice we would like to our Ion to answer us with. And the guys at OpenAI got a little bit carried out, maybe a little bit too excited, and they started to push the idea of Scarlett Johansson being this kind of voice for new multimodal GPT. She wasn't too happy about that, and it ended with the lawsuit. But the idea of making it interesting, that's something that stayed in my mind. And I wondered, what kind of voice should I choose? And I believe like running a business is kind of like running a computer game. So I decided that because I was playing StarCraft when I was younger, I want our Ion to speak the voice of Tassadar, which is like kind of a high-level, high-intelligence entity that supports us. I had some voice here, but it didn't play. But it doesn't really matter. So I wonder what would 18-year-old Frank say if I would say to him that I will be running like a 100-person plus company, and I will be talking to it like I talked to Tassadar from StarCraft to interact with it. Like, this is a crazy idea, but honestly, maybe life is a computer game, and it's not that bad. So for the future, maybe it should talk with the voice of Agent Smith, which is because in 2025, we expect this kind of interface to have more and more agentic capabilities. So doing more of our tasks, just being asked to do that through our app on every phone, and that's it. So now I would like to present you with another idea, which I use personally. This is my hack for productivity, psychology, maybe even philosophy from time to time. And I have developed a system of working with AI which is based on the same principles. So instead of database with data about clients, employees, and our company's processes, I decided to feed AI with a lot of knowledge about myself. Everyone can do that in GPT Assistant or Claude Project or some other LLM. And as you can see, we have some information about people who surround me, and it's like secure because it's a paid version. I have information about my companies, about how I run my days, some kind of routines and habits. And to use that in a maximum way, I have put into my calendar several places of the day which are painted gray, where I do morning reflection, midday check-in, and some kind of evening reflection when I go to sleep and wind down a little bit. Then I review the entries from the whole week during the weekly overview. So this is kind of a rhythm, just like I have rhythm in my organization, to run my day. Of course, it's not that strict and limiting as maybe it seems hard to do that 3 times a day. But honestly, you can open GPT app and just dictate your thoughts for 2 minutes and use a saved prompt to get some inspiring response, which I will share in a moment. So now when you get the concept, you can see how it's done inside Notion. You can use any note-taking app. It can be Apple Notes, Microsoft OneNote, it doesn't really matter. But I have created week after week pages where I have this place to decide about task I want to do each day, and I'm using this template to fill it out throughout the day. You can download both this template and many of prompts I use using this QR code, and I highly encourage you to do that because there are many creative prompts I will describe in a minute. And I would focus maybe on few my favorite ones. So the first one is put any thought into AI and ask it for thought-provoking questions. And you will be amazed with the quality of ideas that will be sparked by AI in the process. Just even without any context. You can even leave this room and put some thoughts into AI and tell it to give you some thought-provoking questions. That's nice because it doesn't provide you with solutions. It opens you to new capabilities and new possibilities of thinking in your life. The same thing, but maybe more focused on your limiting side of thinking, is identifying your cognitive biases. So sometimes I ask AI, okay, I put into my AI journal, I cannot do that, that's not possible, I cannot delegate this task or something like that. And recently, AI told me that my assistant is able to do something. I'm just in status quo cognitive bias, and I only need to rethink like the first principles of that. And of course, I ask him, okay, so help me do that step by step. And basically, it appeared that Paulina, who is working with me, that she's able of doing way more in a way more creative fashion. I just needed to unblock her a little bit and put some time into it. And right now we are doing bigger things because of her help. Then, a simple thing. I'm listing some tasks for today. And I ask AI, give me some ideas for 10x thinking. That's also amazing because sometimes, and I sometimes note that please tell me only things that I can do quickly and not spending a lot of money. And I have amazing, brilliant ideas about everything I do daily. So, like, try to beat that with any other tool or concept or even a human being helping you. No one is there 24 hours to help you with this kind of thinking. And maybe the last one I will mention is assuming that AI is a certain person. And that could be a legendary CEO, like, for example, Frank Slotman, or maybe Steve Jobs, or someone like that. Or maybe some person who inspires you, like Kobe Bryant, for example. And I ask, when I'm tired, I ask AI to be Kobe Bryant and comment on my will to do stuff. And of course, he tells me that I'm a piece of shit and I need to work harder, and that's the moment we recognize who you truly are, and so on. And we had the same situation in Automation House. After a long time of turmoil, we had a very good month, and I asked AI to be Frank Slotman. And he told us, okay, you are celebrating successes, but your sales funnel still has a lot of holes, so get your asses to work. And that was super motivating for all of us, because these people have this entrepreneurship mindset, and they were super pumped that we can aim for more instead of like celebrating just good enough results. So that are some ideas that you can use for AI, and I have a parking lot for all the ideas, because you cannot review all of them throughout the day because we are busy, but you can park them here, and after a week some of them will no longer feel that impactful, and you can focus on the most impactful ones. So the current setup I use, right now I'm doing this from Ion, I have mentioned. So I'm using Perplexity for research. I'm using GPT-4 because of its multimodal capabilities. I like Claude 3.5 for its intelligence. And I was amazed recently, but haven't tested it long enough, with the multi-threaded kind of thinking and connecting the dots between the topics by GPT-01. I think it's amazing. And to summarize it with some final thoughts, what I am worried about a little bit is that at least last year, all the data pointed out that we are a little bit late to the game with AI in Poland. And we often appreciate how much Poland has developed in the last 30 years, and it's mostly thanks to some, of course, systemic changes, but also our and our parents' hard work. But this is not the era of hard work. It's the era of smart work and innovation. And if we don't change something about it, probably this a little bit lazy economies of the West will just bypass us, and we'll be in a lot of trouble. And many people say that AI is kind of a bubble. I don't know from the stock market perspective, because I'm not an expert on that. But what I'm sure is that the computing power will be raising more and more. And just 2 days ago, Jason Huang from NVIDIA said that the Moore's law will be squared, like it will be going even further in terms of computer power. Then, if you look at the cost of tokens you use to run all these AI operations, in the last 2 years, it has gotten 240 times cheaper. So try to beat that with like just, I don't know, working 240 times faster or cheaper. And when everyone was starting again talking about the AI bubble, OpenAI released the model which is more intelligent than the average human being. So basically there is a good capability that some of us, maybe me included, because I'm not sure what is my IQ, are already not that smart as AI is. So I would like to sum up this with one statement, that if we don't do something about that, and if you don't spread the word about AI and use it daily, I think we are fucked. So with this optimistic note, I wanted to say thank you, and if you want to reach me, do this live or reach me on Instagram when I respond pretty quickly. Thank you.